big needs before, and the amount of time it took for her to meet these needs, like, unreal. Like, I mean, just so quickly.
We did that car one time.
Yes, like, they were looking for a car one time for somebody. A mom needed a car.
Right.
And, I mean, I don't know how long it was, but I just know no time
it
went
was
by.
less than 24 hours.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
It was
so there you
quick.
go. No time went by, and they found a whole car for a woman.
That wasn't any magic of Morgan. It was just putting it out there, and then people feeling that tug in their heart to respond.
That's great. So your service areas are Jackson, Georgia, and Greene. Is that right?
On paper.
Yes.
We have served from Mobile County, Harrison County. I did a Walmart pickup in Cleveland, Mississippi, which is North Mississippi, the other day. We've done Jones County. We're really not going to turn down a need. I mean, I can't transport to all those places, but if they're either willing to make a way to get it, or if it's something if we have the funds to do a pickup like that, sometimes it has to be pretty. I'm not going to just. I want to focus on our place.
The need
but
has to be
it's got to be pretty like drastic, or like we have to have this today, or this is gonna blow everything up. So I will intervene when I can in those. But yes, Jackson, Georgia, and Greene. Our building is in Jackson. We have the dream of having a hub in Jackson, Georgia, and Greene. So that may be something down the road we can get to.
Okay.
At least even if it's just a smaller version, but just a place for resources to be picked up from. The management would probably still stay where we're at, but we'd love to see that happen one day. So.
All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our Century Check-In podcast brought to you by Century Bank, where we take banking personally. And today we want to take a closer personal look into our Hurley community. We have a branch in the Hurley community of Jackson County, and today we have with us Allie Luikart. She's a loan officer in Hurley, and she also brought with her Morgan Hamilton Orozco. Morgan also is a member of the Hurley community, born and raised there, right? Yes.
Yep.
And so we're going to talk a little bit about her story and how she's involved in the community and some things that she has started and ways that she's helping in her community. So, Allie, we're going to start with you this morning. I'm so glad to have you, my little Allie from Hurley.
I'm so glad to be here.
Yes. So, tell us a little bit about you. Let's get a little backstory on you and what you do at the bank and what you've done at the bank. Tell us a little bit about that.
All right. So, I am working on year number 10. This year will be my 10th year at the bank.
Wow. Okay.
And I started off as a teller in 2015. And I didn't stay on the teller line very long. I went to a CSR office pretty quickly.
Okay.
And then a little bit later, I went to on to become a lending assistant. And then I've been a loan officer for the last few years. And I love it.
And you're doing great. You're turning out some good loans in Hurley.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you.
We stay busy, really
that's
busy.
right.
I love it. I love lending.
Yeah, I do too. I love lending too, but I also love being a teller. You know, you've been with me in training sessions. I love tellering. Everybody knows that if they know me.
Yes.
Well, that's good. So tell us a little bit about what's going on in Hurley. I know every time I'm down there visiting, it's booming. The branch is booming. Y'all are booming. Tell me a little bit about what's going on.
Yes. So we've been staying super busy in all the areas, teller and CSR, loan officer. We all are staying busy. We have recently started getting engaged in the community, and we have joined the East Central Civic Association.
Okay.
And we have actually partnered up with Morgan recently in the link to start volunteering with them as well.
Great.
So we are super excited about that.
I know. There's one other thing that y'all do down there too. Donna was telling me about that, the Widow's Walk. You've been to that several times?
Yes. So, yes, we feed, we volunteer with Sassy's. They feed the widows of the community, and I believe there's like over 150 guests each time. It's a big job.
Donna told me
we
it's
hit
a ton.
190.
Okay, yes, so
the
near
last
200.
in April.
190.
190.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
it's a big
Sassy's is a
deal.
local business there.
It is. It's
Yes.
a local restaurant, and they have been feeding the widows for, about maybe.
We're on into the second year, I think.
Yeah. So, and it is just growing, and it's a huge deal. Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm actually coming next month to volunteer. I'm going to go with y'all next month. So I'm really excited about that.
Good.
So you're involved in the Widow's Walk too?
I've just been serving the past few months. They had me come speak about the link on in March, and since then, once you experience Widow's Walk, you don't miss it again. I'm telling you, I have carved out the second Tuesday of every month. It is on my calendar. I will not miss it. It blessed my soul just as much as,
I know. I'm real excited. So I know Stacy, Donna, I think Cherie, and then all three of y'all have been. So I'm real excited to go.
It's cool.
Well, let's move on to talk to you this morning. So I wanted to talk to you first of all about your personal journey and how you got to the link, how the link was formed, things like that. I think it's so important for people to know the backstory of nonprofits and things that they want to put their time and their money and their energy into supporting. Right. So tell us a little bit about you personally first, and tell us kind of how that went into you actually starting this nonprofit.
Sure. So I've grown up in Hurley my whole life, generations back, and I was always in church, and I went to East Central and was always involved in everything I could be involved in at the school, and played sports, and I'm the oldest of 4 kids, and so we had a big family, just involved in a lot of stuff. I watched my parents and my grandparents serve my whole life. With no one cares for any recognition for that, but that was what we lived. We lived at the church, and I watched my mama, prepare for funerals, and that's who they call when they need to cook. And she taught classes at church and just different things. So my dad did a lot of the behind the scenes. He was building the church and like doing all that kind of stuff, and so that was just laid out before me. So that was kind of just ingrained a little bit from the get go, which I know that's not everyone's story. So I don't take that for granted. So towards the end of high school, I was, I knew I was going to go to college. I thought I was going to go into nursing. I've always kind of been like the mama of all. I'm the oldest sibling. I'm the oldest cousin on both sides of my family. And so I've always just wanted all the babies, and, that was just kind of my heart. And so I thought I was going to go be a nurse. And, then that just kind of, I don't know, I just didn't have peace about it. So I just went to Mississippi Gulf Coast to get my basics. And then I decided to get a little crazy and dual enroll in Bible college full time as well. So I don't recommend doing both at the same time, but I did. And through that I was babysitting and working at a daycare and just different things. But my senior trip is kind of where life kind of changed for me. And so my parents said I could pick wherever I wanted to go, and I had the opportunity to go on a mission trip to Uganda, to a children's home and a baby home. And so it changed my whole world. And I knew, I've seen missions and heard missionaries speak my whole life. And you can see the stories and see the pictures, and you feel like you're like broken by that, and like, oh, it gets your heart. And it does, but until you go, it's not made real to you, I don't think. Right. And so that trip just changed me. So, I came back from that trip just different, and my mind just on a different path. I still didn't really know what I was going to do with school. I know I was going to Bible college. I had no intention of like preaching or anything. I just felt like that's what I was supposed to do. So, I'm in college. I ended up going back to Uganda the next 2 summers for a few weeks each. And I just thought that's what I'd keep doing. I actually finished school and actually came and worked at the bank at Century.
Yes, you did.
I worked in Hurley and I worked in Escataba. I think I worked up here a little bit.
You did. I remember having you a couple times.
Yeah. And so that was, it's just I don't know, it was just the path I took. I've known Miss Donna forever. Yeah. And anyway, so I loved that time. I loved being a teller, and I was working to be a CSR, and then things changed. And that was, I realized that the bank nor any other job was going to just let me haul off to Africa for the summer and, get to keep your job probably. So I was like, okay, I guess, I'm a big girl now. I can't just keep, I can't do that right now. And so my heart was broken. I was like, that's my babies. That's my family. Like I felt, all our people there are just my family. And so I knew I wasn't going to be able to go back, and I was like, all right, God, well, what am I going to do now? And by this point, I had moved out of my parents. Me and a friend of mine who was also in Bible college lived together, and we had agreed to be in that house together for a year. And about 6 months in, she ended up getting a ministry opportunity in like a whole nother state. Oh, wow. And we knew it was the right thing, but it scared me to death because I was like, you're leaving me here by myself, and what in the world? But sometimes when we see what's going on like in front of our face, like we're not looking at the big picture, and God has got this whole plan coming, but we can't see it. And so in my flesh, I was, flipping out a little bit. But he knew what was coming. So I had joined Kiwanis. We had a branch of that in Hurley, or a chapter. in Hurley, and we went, it was maybe March of 2018, we went and volunteered at the Easter egg hunt at the Jackson County Youth Court.
Okay.
And so, you know, I had no idea about foster care. All I had ever heard about it was negative. Just all the stigmas you can think of, that's all I had heard, but it was still minimal. People just, it was not talked about in our area. And so I went there, and so I didn't really know what to expect. And then I get there, and these are just kids. They're just regular kiddos that I worked the cupcake walk, and they just wanted cupcakes, just like, you know what I mean? Just like you would expect.
Who doesn't want a cupcake?
Right. I mean, I wanted a cupcake, but they had bump and jumps and different things. And so, you know, it was just the best day. That's my jam. So I was, you know, in my element. And the former youth court judge, Judge Segalis, Sharon Segalis, she, I've known her for a long time, and she walked up to me. I think I was maybe 22 at the time. She walked up to me and was like, "Morgan, have you ever thought about fostering?" And I was like, "Judge, what are you talking about? I'm not married. I'm not like, I didn't like feel like a whole adult. I feel like you had to like be, I don't know what I thought, but, and I figured I needed to like own my house and you know,
be settled,
make a lot of money, like have, you know, that kind of stuff. And I don't know. I just was like, no, I haven't thought about that. She was like, well, you know, all you have to do is be 21, legally single or married, have you either rent or own. You can't like cohabitate. And y'all remember I just lost my roommate?
Yeah.
So there was God like lining things up, and I had no idea. And so she was, you know, that, pass a background check, be able to obviously afford your bills and to take care of a child. And she was like, and that's really it. Just be willing beyond that. And I'm a yes girl, okay? So I feel like I'm trying to be a recovering yes girl because that gets you in a bind sometimes. So you can say yes too much. But so in my heart, I already was like, oh man, here I'm about to do this. But I also knew that was going to terrify my family, because it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
And it just changes your life.
It is. And so, you know, kind of preparing for you to come on. I mean, I was just looking at a few stats online, and I mean, there's over 4,000 children in the foster system in just the state of Mississippi, like 300 in just these 3 counties that you actually service through the link, George Jackson and Green, which are, you know, just, that's our place. That's our community. That's where we serve at the bank.
Right.
So, and of course, you know, you hear about fostering, like you said, but like, I don't put a lot of thought into that, which is probably something, you know, we should all check ourselves out. But that's an overwhelming number, I feel like.
You know, it is. And once you're in the world of foster care, like, I see the maps, and some people are like praising the fact that we've lowered numbers, but that's not always a good thing. That generally means that somebody's getting missed. We're desperately low on foster homes, and so really, I know that number seems big, but the reality is there are so many more kids that need to be in care.
Wow.
And that's also kind of a scary reality, because that does not even count children that are in kinship placements, which means they just got placed with family. And it also does not count active prevention cases where they don't have custody of the kids, but there's like a safety plan in place and being monitored. So there's a whole nother ball game to that number.
Wow.
So it's a lot. But you know, that scared my family. I mean, that I thought I knew I was gonna have to figure that out. And she was like, well, just go, Miss Judge Segalis, she said, you know, just go to this informational meeting. And I was like, gosh, I'm signing up, I already know. But I went, and then it actually, that meeting, Miss Shelley Eubanks came and was sharing her story and about their own journey. And I was a mess. And they were like, all right, after the meeting, you know, if there's this email you're going to get, if you're not interested, just don't respond to it. Y'all, I had that thing filled out in the parking lot before I left. Like, okay, what's the next step? And then I was like, what am I going to tell my parents? What am I going to tell them? Because this is just, again, oldest sibling, oldest cousin on both sides. This was like a first for everybody. And I just knew they were scared enough the first time I went to Uganda. Then they realized where my path was going to be. And so they just got on board. And so, honest to goodness, I told them that I was doing this and it was just going to be emergency care, like for the weekend. Kind of lied. I did like repent for that later, but because I didn't know how to. I just eased into it, and you know, that was I think in May I started my licensing of 2018, and I was licensed by August, and I had my first babies come in October.
Wow.
And then they were there for more than a weekend, and my mom was like, hey, I thought this was weekend care. And I'm like, yeah, it's not. But anyways, that just started my journey. I wasn't married at the time. I guess I was 22 or 23, and that's just where it went. I walked into a world of shock. When my first baby came, and that lady dropped him off within minutes and was gone. I was like, I have someone's kid. Like, I babysat tons of kids. I was working the church nursery by age like 9, probably.
Oh, yeah, she's all about the babies.
I'm all about the babies.
All about the babies.
And that's my comfort zone. So I did license for 0 to 3 to start with. I did end up making my age range go up because I just couldn't not. But I knew I could handle some babies. So, but it's still different. The responsibility is different. It's not babysitting. This is like, I am fulfilling the role of a mother.
That's right.
Well, tell us a little bit about that. Like, somebody in your position, like, that is young but an adult and who is looking to that path, but they're single, and then you're being honest about the fears that your family had.
Oh,
so
mercy.
Tell us about that. How did that all work out for you?
So thankfully I have the family I have, so like within minutes of that baby being there, my mom and sister were there. And while I was a disaster, because my heart broke, and it was like, until they're in your hands, it doesn't break the same. And so like, I was mourning over like, oh my word, this baby has a mama and a dad somewhere that has no idea where their child is. Like, I can't fathom that. And they don't get to know, really, And so that broke my heart. And then I'm like, this innocent baby, he did nothing wrong, and why are we here? And so my mom's just bebopping around, handling stuff, and he came, he came with nothing. He came, literally the clothes he had on, the bag that did come with him, the stuff did not fit and was soiled. So, they just started like handling stuff, and I'm just a mess. And, we just made it through our first night, and then you just make it through the next day and the next day. And I mean, I was working full time and had to figure out daycare and had to figure out those things. And that's not always, quick and easy.
That's right. There's a waiting list.
There is a waiting list, and so most people, it's another huge need. If anyone's inspired to have another daycare that would accept the state voucher for kiddos in foster care, that'd be great. Because sometimes I've had to actually turn down taking a placement because I knew there was no childcare available, and most jobs won't let you bring a kid along.
Yeah. Right. So fostering, and then I know just whenever I started following your story on Facebook, you fostering by faith, and so you started out talking about your journey, your faith journey, and then it led you into fostering. So tell us a little bit how did you come to that, knowing that you needed, number one, to start that group. I'm assuming that started out as like a support group.
It was supposed to just be a page of like awareness.
Yeah.
That's all it was intended, because I stayed quiet for probably those first 6 months because I was in shock and just trying to survive. And I had from October through December, I had 3 kids come and go. And that, I mean, just the emotions with that, the big stigma is like, oh, I couldn't do that because I get so attached. Probably one of my least favorite things to hear, because I'm like, whoa, I can cope. We can figure out how to cope with our struggles with that. These babies or kids didn't deserve any of this, and they do deserve our attachment. And then we can, I don't know how anyone would do this without faith necessarily, because I would not have made it through any of this. But anyways, I just stayed kind of quiet and just figured out life for a little bit. But then January 2019, I just really felt convicted. I was like, people need to know about this. Not me doing anything, but just the need. Like, we were desperate for homes. There's always desperate need for homes. But so January 2019, I just started a Facebook page called Fostering by Faith. It was solely, I was going to share our journey of what I could, within confidentiality stuff. So started that, and then I'm telling you, I made a post, and then people were like, I'd get messages like, hey, do you think is there anywhere we can give stuff for foster families to like get a crib when a kid comes, or a car seat, or clothes, or whatever? I've got this, and this. And I was like, that'd be a great thing if I didn't have the family I had that was helping me so much. Kids come with nothing majority of the time. And so like that night, I mean, they need pajamas, they need some diapers, and then they do get some assistance from the state, but that does not happen immediately.
Right.
That can be months out. And so even if it's a child's own WIC, we don't get that immediately. Do you know how much formula is? Like, and I was a single mama at the, doing this. I didn't have money to go buy formula. So I was like, yeah, I mean, we do need somewhere for that to go. And I was like, all right, well, where's that at? So I start kind of just digging, and beyond finding a few clothes closets that no one knew about at some churches, there was nothing. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I could take some of this and hold on to it. Now, remember, I'm in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath rental. You know, God opened up that bedroom because I wouldn't have been able to foster otherwise. But I was like, yeah, I'll just take it. So my little house turned into me having like a little trail to get to my kitchen because I just had stuff everywhere. People were donating. I was like, all right, we can't live like this. We have to do something about this. And then our community, I know everybody loves their community, but I'm telling you, Hurley is magic, and it is just good stuff. And they see a need, and they meet a need. And so not long after this, we had somebody donate a storage unit. That quickly turned into 3 storage units, and that turned into CPS being connected to me, foster parents being connected to me, calling for car seats and beds for immediate emergency placements. And then we just kind of continued on that route. But, and, you know, I'm fostering in the meantime. I have kids coming and going. And, you know, that turned into, you know, someone calling like, hey, this isn't a foster care need, but this mom and her kids are getting out of a domestic violence situation, and they had to leave everything because, you know, they had to get out. And so they're like, they got somewhere to stay, but they have nothing. And so I was like, well, why would we not meet the need? Like, we have the stuff, we'll meet the need. So I got them beds or clothes or whatever. Well, then it turned into, oh, this person's house burned down and they're starting from scratch and they just need immediate clothes today. Like, they're not ready for furniture or whatever, but we have this today. So we just started meeting needs, and then God was just really birthing in our hearts this idea for a family resource center. Because I was like, it's bigger than this. We have churches on every corner, but why is there such a disconnect?
So there was no place like this in the Hurley community. Like, you had no resource center beyond the churches that had different outreach.
I mean, they'd have a clothes closet or a food pantry, but just the awareness of that is not there. I don't know why, and it's not a fault to the churches. It is just, I don't know why there's a disconnect, but there is. So we wanted a place where we could hub all these resources, be somewhere for directive assistance. So we don't do food pantries, but I keep a list of the food pantries, and we outsource that.
That's right.
And we wanted just a multi-purpose center as a good place for the community. So we kind of started praying for that and praying for a building. So that was a 4-year prayer that I started praying in 2019, and we didn't find our building until the very end of 2023. And so from finding a place and a building, then you moved on to another name. It went from Fostering by Faith to an actual nonprofit that you actually have. Right. So Fostering by Faith, it is still alive and going. It's just a outreach, basically. It's nothing per se official, I guess, but it still takes care of the foster care community from top to bottom, for the biological families, foster families, and the kids, and then for reunification purposes, that's what covers that. But we are a hub at the link. So the link is kind of the covering. It is the nonprofit, and then we have some different things underneath that go out. So that's a big thing. A lot of people that know me, especially in Hurley, I was a Hamilton. So, you know, that's anyone that knows me, they are like, oh, this is just a big foster care place. And I'm like, no. That's only like this big of what we do in the big. So Fostering by Faith is there, but the link is not foster care itself. So that's kind of,
the link is actually the resource center.
Right. It's a multi-purpose
and for other purposes.
Right. It's a multi-purpose resource center, meeting needs, connecting community. So this is for everyone. It is not people, you know, bare bottom in need that don't have a bed to sleep on. This is just for your regular, you know, family that runs out of something, or that's like, oh man, this got broken, or we got a new bed and need to get a box spring. A lady the other day came and grabbed a box spring from us, and sometimes those families will, if they can afford to get things, they're like, oh, we'll just make a donation to the link and get it right here. And that just, you know, it kind of plays together. So
that is good. So they can find you on Facebook, the Link Family Resource Center.
Right.
And then you also have a website.
We have a link to our our donation platform website. Okay. We're working on some more stuff with that, but we do have a way to go and donate, set up like recurring monthly gifts or whatever. We have people that set up to give $5 a month $10 a month, it doesn't matter. 'Cause
Okay, well, that's
every dollar
great.
counts.
Yes.
So you can donate your items, or you can donate monetary.
And then give of your time too. We have a serve day every Wednesday. It's
That's
normally
right.
every Wednesday. We do
Yes.
update on Facebook when that changes, because
Yeah.
sometimes schedules,
And you were
We're
talking
so
about
excited
that.
about that. Yeah, so the Hurley girls are going to start rotating on a weekly basis
Yeah.
to lend a hand in whatever way they need.
Right.
But yeah, so we're going to start helping out with that. We just
That's
found out about it,
exciting.
and we were like, oh yeah, we want to help.
Yeah.
We want to help.
Yeah.
We're excited about it.
Yeah, and so on a service day, you're talking about sorting things.
It just, you
packing
never know.
things. Yeah.
You truly never
Do you
know.
ever go out, like, do the servers, the people who serve, do they like go out and deliver things?
So most of our stuff is picked up at the center.
Okay.
But like, we might be sorting income and donations one day. We sometimes will have people that are coming like do trash pickup around the grounds, or they might clean. I mean, our building is just under 5,000 square foot, and I do not have time to clean that thing all the time. And so, because I go like a crazy lady all the time, but so we might be sorting, organizing. We unfortunately do have to put a lot of things in the trash. We get, just like most donation centers, sometimes it gets out of hand, and we are only going to give the people we serve the best of the best.
That's
and
right.
so we want donations. We'll take secondhand items, but we want them to be what you would want your family in.
You would want
what
it to be what you would
type
buy
of,
to put your own kid
right,
in.
or
That's
a mattress
right.
on. Like, we don't need yucky mattresses and
Yeah.
like stuff. And it just
Yeah.
by the nature of what we do, it happens sometimes. So sometimes we're disposing of stuff. And then I always try to have some requests to fill, because I think that is such a good tangible thing that people need to do and be a part of. And so, like, we actually did our serve day yesterday, so we could be here today, and we had 6 requests yesterday.
Yeah.
And so I just like wrote them all out, and I think we had 5 people come serve yesterday, so they all kind of took one. We went and gathered clothes and car seats and beds and formula or a microwave or dresser, because we try to supply any staple item, clothing wise, hygiene wise, and then like household wise. So dressers, beds, coffee tables, couches, kitchen tables. We take all that as donation,
Okay.
We ask that they're like smoke free and clean, of course, but that's the kind of stuff we keep on hand, so that can always be donated to us. We do some benefit yard sales from time to time, just to like we give out more twin mattresses than I can even begin to express, and those are expensive. And so
Yes.
sometimes we'll do a benefit yard sale. People will come donate solely to like be a part of the yard sale. We'll do the yard sale, and then we'll purchase twin mattresses.
Oh, that's great.
So that's another
Oh,
like
wow.
cool
So
outlet.
those are a lot of great ways that like your community is helping support.
Right.
Tell us about a few
Absolutely.
ways that like a business can support you. Now, I know that in the Hurley community, y'all are small like we are in Lucedale, and the community really joins together and
Right.
supports. So I know Allie said that they're going to start volunteering, but what are some other ways that businesses are supporting this nonprofit?
Right. So, of course, by coming and serving.
Right.
Anytime a business can share our post on Facebook. I know that sounds simple, but it you never know who you're going to reach by that.
That's right.
And every single click and share and all that counts by getting us out there. Now that we are an official 501c3 nonprofit, we do have businesses, churches, individuals that partner with us like on a monthly basis financially, and we're able to provide the like tax receipts for that.
That's great.
We have, in anything, it takes money to make it work, and so we have a lease, we have a power bill, we have bills that we don't want to take out of funds for families, but we have to pay them, and me and my husband cannot afford to pay them. So we really stepped out on this. When I signed the lease for this building, I had no clue how we were going to do it. I just knew that we had prayed for 4 years and God opened the door. And I just trust that. People told me on my first mission trip, if it's His will, it's His bill. In some way, some form, He will send the people, He will send the dollars, He will send whatever to make it work. And so we trust that.
Yeah.
And so thankfully our community's so good about that. But they can also partner with us for like events that we do. So we have a homecoming and prom closet. We really would like to form a committee for that. We don't have that yet, so that I don't have to tackle it
yes,
myself.
that
I was your girl for
Yes,
homecoming.
I would love
might
to do that.
I might get Allie
That's so me.
to help me head that up. It's just
Yeah.
twice a year, so it's not a big undertaking, but It
Yes,
is for
get
just
with me
me to
on
do.
that.
So I
Yeah.
need to
Allie,
work
I
with
think
you on
that's
that.
great. You know, we have a program here at the bank called Work, Serve, Play. We started that
Right.
as something that we do bank-wide just for our employees to
Right.
be involved in the community and connected, and
Right.
also have the bank involved.
Yeah.
So
That would
might
be like a
little-
cool
I'm
idea.
all about it. I'm all about that.
Right.
Yeah, you let me know what you need, and
Yeah.
like that's
And we
so
have a few
cool.
girls here that would probably want to do that too. I
Yeah.
got a few names in my head that
Yeah.
that's right up their wheelhouse.
And
Yes,
it's
I
such
didn't
a-
realize y'all were looking to have a
Right,
committee for that.
right. We haven't
So-
haven't actually like publicized that
Yeah.
yet.
It's in the
Just because
works.
when I tell you,
Well, we're going to
the
publicize
back
it
end,
here for you.
Yeah.
yes,
There you
yes.
go.
The back end of the link is a whole lot,
Yeah.
and just managing. And I didn't really cap off the foster care story, but throughout that, I ended up having a placement of twins. They were 6 months old when they came to me, and again, I'm still single. And their journey did not work out to where they could be reunified with any family. And I had zero intent of adopting by myself. And so it 2 years in, they're like, hey, we're going to go ahead and find an adoptive home for them. And I was like, excuse me? If they can't go back home to family, because that's always the priority.
Yes.
Right.
I'm mama. They're not going anywhere. And so I adopted my twins in December 2020. They are now, holy moly, almost 7,
Wow.
which is crazy. And then I did end up getting married, and we wanted to continue fostering just because it's just been a part of our life. And so we continued fostering and have had placements since then. And we actually just had another adoption in December of our little girl. She's 2. And so, the chaos of that,
Yeah.
the toll of foster care in general,
Right.
it does take a toll on your family. I'm not going to lie. I will never sugarcoat. You want to know the real about foster care? Chat with me. There's a need, but I'm going to be real with you about the bad, the hard, and what it's going to take. So all of that is a lot, and I'm thankful for, but it is on the backside of the link and getting all this out, it can be a lot too. So we definitely need help. I need team members that are willing to like link arms with me and head up stuff, because this is not the Morgan show. I wish I could do it without a name, but I need people to head up this department, head up this. We actually I met with a lady Monday that's going to start cleaning for us once a week. That's
Wow.
like massive.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We have a group of young guys that are going to start taking our trash out each week. I know that sounds silly, but
The
it
little
is
things
not.
that adds
Like
up.
that
It's not.
takes off our load.
It takes
because
all people, yeah.
whatever is not off of our load.
It's a team
my
effort.
my poor husband, he is our manual labor, and he loves that we now have someone taking the trash out and stuff like that. And I know that sounds so silly, but I truly believe everyone of every age can find a way to be a part of the link, and the realm of things we touches something that every family deals with. We deal with
Right.
caregivers, we deal with widows, we deal with elderly, we deal with adult special needs, children, families, your house burns down, domestic violence, mental health stuff. I mean, it's kind of never ending. That's why it's hard to talk about the link in just like a little post, because it's
Right.
very vast of what we do. So
Well, let me ask you this question. We were talking about the Widows Walk whenever we started with Allie, and you said you had been a part of that. Now, are you a part of that? Were you just a part of that personally, or is the link a part of Widows Walk? Do you service? I know you just said you service widows.
Well,
too.
so they actually just called me to be the speaker. They wanted me to let the ladies there know that we're there for them and what resources we would have. We get donations of walkers and different things, and just stuff that they might
So
need.
you do get donations that service adults,
All
not
people.
just
yes,
children.
it is not. It is everybody.
That's great.
It's everybody. And so I was telling Allie earlier that actually, and this
She
is
had
where I
me,
was like,
yeah,
get
in
grab the
tears. This is
tissue.
when I
Yes,
started
I walked
crying.
up in the room and y'all were crying. I was like, let me get some tissues.
So I spoke that week, and I wanted them to know that, like, number one, we're here for them. And then one of my pastor's wife is actually one of the people that started Widows Walk.
Okay.
And so, I've heard a lot of the back end stories, and that this Widows Walk is for a lot of those ladies actually the only thing they do a month. Like the only outing they have a month beyond
And I
maybe
could
a
not
grocery
imagine that.
store.
If we like to go out.
I
we'll
go
go
and
out.
do, yeah, all the time. I just
That's
couldn't
one of the
imagine.
only like personal connections that they have a month, and
So
that
important.
breaks my heart. And so I wanted them to know that if they have sitting around with nothing to do and are still able, like they can come to our serve days. They they can sit in a chair and sort some clothes or fold or do whatever. I can give them tasks that was within whatever their abilities
their
are,
ability is.
and so I wanted them to know that, and then just how they could support us as well. And so since then, that was the second Tuesday in March, just about every Wednesday I've had at least 2 ladies from Widows Walk coming and serving, which is just like, I'm like, this is an outlet, and then one of the ladies actually wants to be involved on a deeper level. She said that since her husband had passed, she had really felt like a lack of purpose and just lost, and I understand that. I've not lost a husband, but our family has been in a lot of grief over the past 2 years, and so I understand some of those feelings, and so she just felt like this might be her way to like really get involved, and so we're working on some stuff with her. And then we actually had a widow there that she's recently widowed, ended up taking in a grandchild, was on a fixed income, all the things, and she needed a bed, and so we actually got to present her with a bed and bedding and all the things at that Widows Walk in March.
Oh, wow.
And it was like a real life demonstration of like what we do, and that there's no shame in it. Every single person, I don't care how much money you have or whatever, you and your family goes through some season of need. It may not be a physical, financial way, but it may be with mental health, or it may be, other areas. So we got to present that to her, and it was just the sweetest thing. And then this is the sad, this one lady, she called me and she was like,
this is where the tears come.
I know. She said, after you came and spoke, and I just heard about like, your own grief, and then what we do at the link and that stuff in our story. She said, I finally feel like I have like the desire even, or strength to go through her husband's clothes and to come donate them to the link. So it was like, I was a mess, because it was just like, I know what it feels like to make a step in your grief, to put clothes up, to take a crib down, to like, those are big deals to be able to do that. And so for her to like feel like she could do that was just like, it just blessed my heart. And so we do, I will say this, we do pause clothing donations from time to time, because we would need a 20,000 square foot building to encompass all the clothes that we get. So I do have to pause that often. And we were actually paused at the time, and I was like, no, ma'am, you bring me, you bring me whatever you have.
Morgan, that's a testament to the success of your program and your nonprofit, and to you as a person, that, you're so passionate, and that also your passion and your dedication is bringing your community together and getting them involved.
Right. And it's just a show. I can't tell you how many people have said like, we want to help, or we want to do good things, or we want to give back somewhere, but we don't know where. We don't know where to go and serve, and that's why I'm really not afraid to use my mouth and put it out there. And like when I tell you the other day, I think I posted about I know this is silly, but we really would love a garbage man for the link. That would really help me a lot. We fill up 4 or 5 trash cans a week.
And you got one.
And
that's right.
The same night we got one.
She always is posting. And I mean, people meet these needs so quickly.
But that's why you just put it out there. So whatever you're a part of, like, don't be afraid to ask for the help. Because the worst you can get is silence, and that doesn't change your situation. So like, we got the garbage man, and we got the lady cleaning, and actually 2 extra ladies that want to help rotate with her to clean. So that was all in like a couple hours of posting. And so I'm thankful for our community, because they respond.
Like big needs before, and the amount of time it took for her to meet these needs. Like unreal. Like, I mean, just so quickly.
We did that car one time.
Yes, like they were looking for a car one time for somebody. A mom needed a car.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know how long it was, but I just know no time
went by. It was
by.
less than 24 hours.
Oh yeah, there you go.
It was
so there you
quick.
go. No time went by,
but it's
and they found a whole car for her.
That wasn't any magic of Morgan. It was just putting it out there, and then people feeling that tug in their heart to respond.
That's great. So your service areas are Jackson, Georgia, and Greene. Is that right?
On paper.
Paper.
We have served from Mobile County, Harrison County. I did a Walmart pickup in Cleveland, Mississippi, which is North Mississippi, the other day. We've done Jones County. We're really not going to turn down a need. I mean, I can't transport to all those places, but if they're either willing to make a way to get it, or if it's something if we have the funds to do a pickup like that, sometimes it has to be pretty. I'm not going to just. I want to focus on our place,
the need
but
has to be
it's got to be pretty like
specific.
drastic, or like we have to have this today, or this is gonna blow everything up. So I will intervene when I can in those. But yes, Jackson, Georgia, and Greene. Our building is in Jackson. We have the dream of having a hub in Jackson, Georgia, and Greene. So that may be something down the road we can get to. At least like, even if it's just a smaller version, but just a place for resources to be picked up from. The management would probably still stay where we're at. But we'd love to see that happen one day. So we pray
tell
for those
us where the
connections.
building is. Where is it located?
So it's 4204 Highway 614.
Okay.
If you're familiar with Hurley, if at all, or where our East Central High School is.
Yes.
We're right down the road from it.
Okay.
Where we have a community center like right beside us. So if you look up the Jackson County, like the Hurley East Central Community
That's
Center,
right,
I think
yeah.
it's called. We're like right next to it.
Okay, well that's
it's
pretty-
very
Yeah,
convenient.
centrally
Very convenient
located, yeah.
location. So it's just
You
really
can't get
down the
lost.
road from y'all, from
That's
the
right.
branch.
That's right, yeah.
And we have people that will transport too. So like if there's someone up here that needs something, they aren't able to get it, because a lot of people we do serve do have challenges with the transportation. So we may have someone in the Hurley community that works up here that brings it. I have a sweet lady, Miss Judy, that works at the WIC office, and she will call me for moms in need sometimes. And she lives in Hurley though, so I'll sit the stuff out at the building for her, a car seat or whatever, and she'll grab it and bring it up here. So we're always, that's another way to serve. I know that when I tell you there's a million ways to be involved, I mean it. If you're willing to even like be a transport person, if you work in Pascagoula every day or you work in Greene County, like let me just have you on speed dial to where like if I have a need, you got a truck or something, can sling a bed in there and get it for us, because sometimes that's a barrier.
That's
for
right. You can't be everywhere.
Because
That's good to know that you just
everywhere.
sometimes
That
need somebody
is.
with a truck that can drive
Right.
30 minutes down the road.
Right, or
That's
someone's
good.
willing to donate a crib, but they don't
Yeah.
have a way to get it to us.
Yeah.
I could just send somebody on that.
That's right.
There's a lot of ways to be involved without, I think a lot of people, when you think of a nonprofit, they're like, oh, we've got to give money. And while we have to have money, and there are some people that's all they want to do, and that is great too, because we
Right.
need that, but there's just so many other ways.
Well,
to
and
be
so
involved.
also, we have multiple branches in Alabama,
Right,
in the
right.
Mobile County, and Baldwin County for that matter. So do you partner with any of those? I know that we also, as a bank, we've donated and supported Fostering Together the Gulf Coast, and that's in Mobile. Are you connected with them?
Yes, so that one of my friends was one of the founders of that, and we were back in the beginning of Fostering by Faith. They were in the beginning of starting that as well, and so
Okay.
we bounced off of each other a lot. Now they are solely foster and adoptive family care. They don't do anything out of the scope of that, which is totally fine. I think there are more resources in that area for other needs.
Yes.
We just didn't necessarily have that in our areas, but so they just do foster and adoptive care, but they have weekly hours. Foster families can come restock, I think once a month or twice a month or something, and then of course with emergency placements they get to come do stuff. But they're incredible. They do so much good work over there. They do a gala every year that's super
They
fun
do.
and cool.
They do. Stacy told me about that. I think that we've supported that. I know also you mentioned that you don't actually have a food pantry, but here in Leesdale, we have a organization, Love Thy Neighbor, Hope is Alive. They provide meals, I think, twice a week.
I think so too, yeah.
So are you connected with them? Are you able to,
We refer a lot.
to
So
them?
we also do a lot with the homeless community. And again, that's not like in-house at the link, but we
Yes.
get to direct out. And, we had a couple from Hurley going and giving out blankets during when it was snowing in January and giving out stuff and giving heaters out. And so we were able to have the funding or the donations to provide that stuff. And we just got it to them and they went and dispersed it. Like we just want, the link's name is literally what we are. We are linking together with businesses and communities and partners and just bridging that gap, because there shouldn't be a gap between people that are in need and where you can get the help.
Yes.
So we just try to really bridge that. So we can shout out to Love Thy Neighbor or other food pantries and other churches or wherever and let the people get the help they need.
Yeah, and we do actually have a church here locally that has a we call it the food pantry, food bank, and of course they have a real great system that we actually have people here that volunteer with them every week.
That's
Are there any other organizations in Hurley, in the Hurley community, that y'all partner with, that the bank partners with, that we need to like give a little shout out so that people know that there are this resource and other resources? Is there any other ones of those in Hurley? Is there a church in Hurley or anything that, there are other resources? I wasn't sure.
Oh, I'm sure. All the churches, I believe meet needs where when
Like Full Life has a uniform closet, so people call us. We don't want to duplicate, so that's a big thing for us. So like we didn't want to do a uniform closet because Full Life already did that well. So any uniforms we get donated, we put there. And then any requests we have, we fulfill from there, So we just try to like
work together,
bridge that gap. And like I know there's the Promise organization. They help mothers and babies,
They do.
and so we shout them out when we don't have items, or they call us for car seats or different things too. So we kind of just work together. Because that's what it's about. It's just working together and meeting the needs and part of our building too, I don't think I mentioned this, but we have spaces there that can be used for things. So like we have 2 rooms that tutors use in the afternoon. It's nothing I put on, they just use space. We have a fellowship hall and kitchen that can be like rented or just used for like baby shower, wedding shower, birthday, just on a basic scale. We also have, this is kind of new information kind of sharing here, that we're about to have a marriage and family counselor at the link that's going to be
great.
in a whole space and taking clients and stuff, and then also providing free resources for the link.
And so counseling, they're just renting your space. So will
it's like
that
a sublease, and it's also supporting us by
Yes.
helping us with
Yes.
that. But then they are taking clients able to bill insurance, and we don't. That's a resource we really don't have in our area. You normally have to travel for any kind of counseling
yes.
therapy services. So we're excited for that. We want to see that expand one day.
And they can find all of that information on your website and on your Facebook page.
Yep. And we're trying to keep all that updated. That's something we really hadn't published about because it's an upcoming thing, but it is coming. So
Well, I'm glad to know that
exciting.
you mentioned that you now are a 501(c)(3), so
Yes.
that I know that goes a long way sometimes
does.
with getting corporate and larger business sponsorships, so that they know that number one, it's a legit organization that
Right.
they're sponsoring, but also that they can use it to their benefit.
Right,
So
right.
it will entice them maybe to give more of a donation.
Right. Well, there's there's different programs with different works. Like Chevron does a matching type program, and so for them to be able to support us in that way, we needed to get to this status.
Yeah.
So that's always an option. We can be taken on as that for that match program.
Yeah.
But that's just stuff in grants. We have some big dreams and plans for the future. Our property has 10 acres, and so we really want to develop in the future, but it's going to take a lot of money to do that. So we'll get there one day. But
well, everything starts out as a dream, and so
Right.
you're just in step 1, step 2 of fulfilling yours.
it took
I
4
think
years of praying to get the building.
I know.
So I'm in no rush.
She did not
but
give up.
I'd pass empty buildings and be like, oh God, maybe that one, maybe this one. And then when I heard that this building was going to
It's perfect.
wasn't going to be occupied anymore.
Well, I feel like
So-
the location's perfect too,
It
especially
is.
central to the school and to the Hurley
The-
area
the
where all the
four-way,
businesses
that's
are.
right.
We've had the
That's right.
teachers call before and be like, hey, we have a kid here that, doesn't, that needs them close today. And
So
so
when
we've been able to
Donna-
run
right
meet that
there.
need.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Donna told me that y'all were going to start volunteering, and Stacy and I were brainstorming, trying to figure out, next episodes and things like that, we were like, well, let's see if we can incorporate that. So I'm really
Right,
glad
right,
that we had
right.
you on today.
All right, and I think y'all are going to also help us with our school supply drive. We do a
Yes.
big distribution in
Yes.
June. We haven't released a date yet, but that will be coming. I think we're going to have a box up at some of the locations to
I believe we're
do
going to
that.
be
And when we
drop-off
announce
at
that,
Hurley.
that's for everybody. And so to come get school supplies, that's a big. I think
Y'all
school's
are going to
starting
be a
earlier
drop-off
this year.
location, the Hurley
at the
branches?
Hurley branch.
Yes.
Yes. So
Okay.
the school supplies can come to us in Hurley, and then we
Right.
will get them to Morgan.
They can make their drop-off donation, make their deposit, come and get a loan from you, open a new checking account.
Yeah, there
what
we
else
go.
can we do?
Yeah.
We just do it all.
Yeah.
I think Donna also was wanting us to be a drop-off here too at the main office. I
Right,
think we're
right.
going to have a
That'll be
location
great.
for you here.
Well, last year we took kind of a roll when people came in and they signed in their name and like a phone number contact and a school they came from, just so we could see our service area. And we had we had Greene County students come, we had George County students come, we had Van Cleve, St. Martin. I think I think we had a Gulfport high school student come. Well, we actually got to be on WXXV last year about that, and so that's where they had heard us from, and
Yes,
so they
that's
came.
so awesome.
We had it was a big reach, of an area. So we definitely we need lots of supplies.
It is. They're so expensive.
Oh,
They
mercy,
really
they
are,
are.
and it's a
They
big
really
need.
are, and it's a ton of them.
It's so
when you start
much.
looking at the list in Walmart, it's a ton.
I know
of
it's
stuff.
so much, and we
Yeah.
want to fulfill a full list.
Yeah.
And last year we were
Right.
kind of like, oh, we don't have the paper towels or the Clorox wipes, but we have this, and this, and so we just did the best we could. It was our first year,
Yeah.
and so we'll
You
keep.
start somewhere and you grow.
Yeah, you're just gonna keep growing. So
So the best way to contact you, of course, we've talked about fundraising and donating and drop-off locations,
Right.
and you've got your website
right,
and the Facebook page. But to contact you to serve,
right.
do you have another person that schedules that for you, or is it the Morgan Show when it comes to scheduling?
Yeah, I would love to have someone. If someone feels led to do that, that'd be great too. But no, it's just me. My
Okay.
cell phone's on the sign. So
Your number's on the sign.
yes.
Or they can
we
they
have
private message you?
They can private message us on Facebook. Then we also have an email, and that's just the link, frcms@gmail.com. But that's all on our Facebook. Our Facebook right now is our primary source of information. We're working on some other avenues for that, but we do have a QR code for the giving, and then just our info is mainly there. So we're working on expanding that, but that's also my job. So it's on the list.
It's on the list.
But that's the best way to get to us.
Do you sleep, Morgan? I feel like you haven't told me yet that you
Not
sleep.
a lot. No, I'm a night owl. That's when I try to get stuff done, and then we're up early getting kids to school, and then getting to the link. But I did just this past year, actually. I've worked full time this whole time also, like a 8 to 5 job. And so, which they were the best ever. They took such good care of me. But it finally came time at the end of last year that I had to let it go and be at the link. And so that was a big jump for our family, but we're doing it and just trusting the Lord. But so now I am available, and we don't really have hours at the link. A lot of our stuff's just by appointment because of the nature of it.
That's right.
So it's not something you come in and necessarily like shop around or whatever, but a lot of it's appointment based, schedule based.
As the need arises.
You come for the support groups, you come for this or that, you schedule to use the room for your event, and then all of the requests are like fulfilled, and then we tell them it's time to pick up. So at this point, we really don't have there's not a need for open hours technically. So I'm just in and out running the rest, doing whatever has to be done in the day.
That's good.
So
That's good.
it's pretty fluid.
I'm so glad that we had you on today. I mean, of course, I follow you on Facebook, and of course, you've worked here, so I always follow your story. But it's great to get you in to know what all the resources are, what you do have at the link, and what you can offer people. And it's great to get that information out to different people. We can share that with our churches, share that with our businesses here. Just real quick, Allie, what else is going on in Hurley? Tell me, I think it's Old Fashioned Day coming up in Hurley.
It actually just passed.
Oh, it passed.
It did, but it's always such a great event that the East Central Civic Association puts on every year. And I mean, I believe they have well over, I think, 150 sponsors and booths.
Oh, right.
It is such a big event. It's the biggest event. It's the biggest event in Hurley. And it takes a lot of work. And with us being new members of the Civic Association, we got to see just how much effort it takes. And a lot of people show up to those meetings leading up to Old Fashioned Day because it takes so much. And I mean, I guess but then whenever you're part of it, you really see it. You're like, oh, wow, a lot of people put a lot of effort and time into it, and there's a lot that goes into it. But it is such an awesome event. And I mean, it only grows every year too.
Yeah. And it's like a fundraising type of event?
It is. And what they do is they raise all this money and they give it back to the kids. It is they do scholarship funding for the kids, for the East Central kids.
Central for the seniors.
They do.
Oh, I'm glad to know that.
Yes,
that's a great thing. So anybody that's been thinking about attending that event, it's annual, right?
It is every spring.
I actually received the scholarship my senior year.
Oh,
so I'm a physical benefit of that.
There she goes. Yep.
Well, that's
how about
good.
that? They also do a lighting of the Christmas tree event at Christmas every year, and so we have a large Christmas tree in Hurley that it's a big deal to decorate that thing.
It's a big deal to decorate the tree at the bank.
Right. I mean, imagine this. I wish I knew how many feet this tree is.
Man,
I mean,
a lot.
it's huge. And so, actually, the shed where all of the decorations are stored, it burnt down right like weeks before it was time to decorate the tree.
This past Christmas?
This past Christmas.
Yeah.
And so Morgan in the link actually put out a post, and they had the tree decorated what y'all do except like some monetary donations and some decorations. And next thing you know, the tree's decorated. I mean, so the link came in and helped the Civic Association with that.
Right. Okay. And I'm giving credit to my little girl on that because she's 6 and she has the purest little heart, but a big thing I want kids to know what service is. And so our kids, they know. And so I told her, she said, when's the Christmas tree going to be lit? And I'm like, baby, all their ornaments got burned up in the shed. And she was like, okay, well, why can't we just get new ones? Why can't our community just get new ones? I'm like, okay, sister, yes, that's exactly right. Why can't our community? So we like, I think I posted a picture of my little girl. And I put it on Facebook. I was like, all right, sister thinks we can all take care of this Christmas tree. And so let's do it. And it just happened. And
it just happened. So you just decided to make the post on your resource link page.
Right. And I think my personal page too.
And your personal page.
And
then what'd you say, 24 hours?
Oh, no. It just over those few days. And then we said we're going to go shop on this day.
Okay.
So you can either drop by the jumbo ornaments we have like a donation drop box outside. They can drop that off, or they can send money in, and we'll go buy it or whatever. And so people just started donating all kind of stuff, and it was decorated, and then we had such a good sweet tree lighting, and that's another fun thing that
Yeah.
Hurley does. And I think the library is another one that might be, has a lot of summer events for kids.
That's right.
Outings.
Yeah, so the Friends of the East Central Library, they do have summer events, and we do also donate to those programs because it does take a lot to keep those type of programs going.
Right.
But they do different events throughout the summer that the kids can attend and give, little activities to do. And they love that too. So.
Well, how about that? Did I hear you say that you reached out to Stacy, so we did help with the donation? Of
We did.
yeah.
Yes. And so
we love
Century
Christmas here.
Bank
Oh, I
did.
know.
We love
Christmas is my
donate to
life.
that.
We start listening to Christmas music in July. Like, that's when it in our
I'm
house.
not that bad.
no.
I started in October.
Our Alexa in our house, like, it's about 6:15. She's hitting Christmas music in July. Normally when we're eating supper, and I know it's bad, but I married a good
awesome.
husband that accommodates that.
Well, that's good. That's good. All right. So, anything else coming up? I know I'm coming down there next month. Well, in May
For Women's Walk.
for the
Yeah,
Widow's
so
Walk.
that's next week, right?
I think it is.
Or maybe the
I don't
second
know.
2 weeks.
Tuesday. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
2
second
weeks.
2 weeks
Tuesday.
from
I was just going to say
2
maybe
weeks
not
from
next
yesterday.
week. 2 weeks.
I didn't
yes.
know you were coming. We're going to have so much fun.
Well,
Yeah.
Donna may not have told y'all. I just told her last week that she's been telling me she wanted me to come, and I really do want to come. A scheduling. Everything
Oh,
is
I know.
scheduling.
I
It's a
know.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the this Widow's Walk is going to be like the tea party theme, and we're decorating a
Yes.
table. So
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's what she was telling
We're
me
so
when she said
excited
tea
about
party.
that.
I was like, oh, that's right up my alley.
And when I
Yes.
tell y'all they come dressed to the nines,
I have
I'm
heard.
talking. This is gonna be the hats thing. So
Oh,
like,
it's the hats
yes.
thing?
So everyone, they're all gonna have.
Well, I'm
their,
glad y'all told me that.
I
I
know.
showed up without a hat.
I know.
Yes.
Stacy
It's
would have
gonna
showed
be-
me up in there. She's been wearing a hat. You know how she is about wearing hats.
So it's gonna be really good.
Okay,
It's gonna
well,
be fun.
good. Well, Morgan, I feel like there's so many more things we could have talked about, but I feel like I probably left something out. But if we did, we may have you back on later in the year just to give us
Yeah.
an update. I'm so glad, though, that you had the time to join us. I think this has been a great informational podcast, just not only for Hurley, but for Jackson, George, and Green. I don't really know that when people see your post on Facebook
Right.
or read that you do actually try to service
Right.
and meet those needs in different communities and not just your immediate Hurley area.
And it's opportunities like this that makes that known,
Yeah.
And so anytime we can come speak at anything, businesses, churches, any of it, we will be there. Whether you give me 5 minutes, I can squish some stuff in, or there have been some pastors that give me their Sunday morning, and I'll throw in a little missions message with it.
Okay, well,
putting that
good.
Bible college stuff to
Yeah,
use.
there you go.
Bible college.
But anyways, that's just any opportunity we can get. We love speaking at service groups. I've spoken at different clubs and like some Pascagoula, the NOLA Club, and different things that will just have me. So anytime I can spread the word.
I feel like just getting this little short abbreviated part of your story, of your testimony, has been, very encouraging, very eye-opening to other people. I mean, at 22 years old,
That's crazy.
That's an age that a lot of people are still going to college. They're still trying to figure out what they want to do in life. They're
Right.
still trying to fulfill all of their wild dreams.
Right,
So
right.
that's been very inspiring this morning.
Absolutely.
Did I leave anything out, Allie? Anything else you want to tell me?
I don't believe so.
You don't believe so? I'm so
No.
glad to have you this
I
morning.
know, it was nice listening.
It's been fun.
Yes, you'll be back with us. So.
Okay. I will. I'll do it again.
You will. I'll have you back
enjoy
on.
it,
I'll
yeah.
figure out some subject, and I'll be sure
There
I'll
we
have you
go.
back. I'll have you
Yep.
back. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Join us next time, and we're going to continue just seeing what's in our community and what's going on around us. Have a great day.